God Show, WAAB. Whether you want to believe it or not, we are all broken. Thank you for tuning in, and this is a place where you will not go away sad or disillusioned. Maybe today you will find what you need to help to strengthen your relationship. Today we'll talk about forgiveness and marital drama. The question today is, are you stuck? Are you stuck and cannot seem to find a way out? First of all, I want to share something with you guys. There was an article back in 2013 in the Huffington Post, and it talked about a poll that was administered, taken from really 100 mental health professionals, and it found from this poll that 100 mental health professionals said that they cited that the most prevalent factor in relationship in a divorce was 65% said it was because of communication that led to their divorce, and the other percentage was due to the inability of the couples to resolve conflict. So, guys, I have found it to be true in my experience working with couples. My expertise is providing, helping couples to get unstuck in their relationship, to offer basic training for couples to help to strengthen their marriage. And there are 6 modules that I use. And the first module talks about communication. Now, the lack of communication in marriages is the number one, the largest percentage of marriages breaking up. I am here. I have lived that, and I've experienced it, and plus I have seen it in a lot of relationships. But the most thing I've seen in couples when they come to the marital group is that a lot of them have a spirit of indifference. And you say, what about indifference? What does indifference have to do with it? They have been together for a period of time. The communication skills are poor. They don't know how to resolve conflict. And then it's like vicious cycle start. They become indifferent toward each other. And a lot of these couples were in the church, and they were actually living their life as if this person had their own God and they had their own God. They went through the motions. They went to church every week, but they were unhappy in their marriage. They had become indifferent toward each other. They lacked interest, concern, or sympathy toward each other. And they were not enthusiastic at all about their relationship, and basically they were unconcerned about each other. They were just going through the motion, raising their children, going to church, and not doing much about it. And as over a period of time, they start becoming resentful toward each other. It's easy to become resentful towards your mate because each one feel like their needs are not being met. Maybe their emotional needs, mostly it's their emotional needs. And you talk about resentment. Resentment is a strong and painful bitterness emotion. And it really comes about when someone has done something wrong. So over a period of time, you start become resentful toward that person. And resentment, we all know, is it can have does not have actual physical weight, but it feels very heavy in our souls, and it lasts a long time. But the key I have found to overcome a resentment toward your significant other, your spouse, is forgiveness. It is the most important tool and skill I have found. When you learn how to forgive, it gets rid of resentment. It really does. And so sometimes we have issues that are unresolved, and we haven't talked about them, we haven't discussed them, so we just build up all this resentment, and the cycle goes on and on and on over a period of time. So we have to learn to forgive. And, when we say we forgive you, it doesn't mean we're going to pretend that how you offended me never happened. Now, those of you that read the Bible and follow what the Word of God says, in 1 Corinthians 13, verse 4 and 5, it talks about forgiving. We forgive people because we have to let go of the hurt. When we forgive others, we let go of the resentment, and we give up any claim to be compensated for the hurt or loss we have suffered. Yes, we're hurt, but you have to forgive the person. You have to forgive. It's just like I have a scar on my hand that I had got this scar. Now, no one caused this scar, this pain that I received from this scar on my hand. But what I'm trying to say is, I burnt my hand many, many years ago. I was making candied apples. Now, that was a very painful experience because when you ever been burned by sugar, I'm telling you, sugar and grits stick to your skin, and it's there. But it was a deep scar. Now, when I look at that scar left from making those candy apples, the pain from how I got that is gone. But I always remember how I got that scar. But once you forgive someone, over a period of time, the pain from what they did will go away. Think about, you remember David in the Bible? Where David sinned and murder and adultery. We all know that God forgave David. David committed some very serious sins, but it did not shield David from the consequence of his action. God forgave him, but he had still suffered the consequences. So we have to forgive others, and we have to pardon. You say, pardon? I mean, how can I forget what they done? Folks, God pardoned us many, many times for the sins we've done. Sometimes we have to pardon with no valid basis. There's no basis to why I should forgive this person. Why should I pardon them? Folks, we know that even God forgive us, who we've done a lot of willful things and malicious things that are in our life we're not proud of. So sometimes people who are guilty of maliciously or willful acts or offenses toward us, sometimes people refuse to acknowledge their mistake. They refuse to even acknowledge that they have done anything wrong. Sometimes they're not even willing to change their ways. And even sometimes they don't even apologize for hurting you. But we have to pardon people. So we realize that we all have been victims of cruel or mistreatment by someone who refused to apologize, even admit to what he or she has done to us. But we have to go ahead and abandon the rage. We're not excusing the error, but we can refuse to be consumed with the anger. We can refuse to be consumed with the anger. Because anger and resentment, it affects your body. It is also proven that anger and resentment is the cause of a lot of health issues. It can affect your blood pressure. It can affect your mood. It can affect your body 100%. So you want to excuse what the person did, but you don't want to be consumed by the anger. And I know I'm not telling you something I have not experienced myself. Forgiving is a challenge. Sometimes we can even feel that the person that wronged us don't even deserve to be forgiven. He or she may not deserve it. But one thing I know, guys, we all deserve to be free of anger, because anger will take you out. A lot of people say as Christians, and we shouldn't be angry. Yeah, it's okay to be angry, but don't take it to the next level. The Bible teaches us, be ye angry, but sin not. When you take it to the next level where you refuse to forgive someone, or you want to harbor that resentment and keep it on and make your life miserable, then I think that's what calls us what is really sinful in God's eyes. Because if God forgive us, who are we not to forgive someone that's offended us? I'm not saying it's easy, but we have to do it. We must free ourselves. Here on this station, we're about talking about things that's going to free us so we can be free and be us. Now, a lot of times when we're talking about forgiving people, we know it's a challenge. I know it's a challenge. The pain may still be fresh when we start thinking about forgiving somebody that has wronged us. Whether it's a spouse, we still have to forgive. Sometimes we start getting angry. We become angry when we think about what they did. It starts playing over in our mind again. So the reaction become even more. But when we think about forgiving, the pain can still be fresh. But don't give in to that reaction. Remember, for our sake, we need to forgive. Okay, so we're going to forgive. We're going to realize that the person sometimes may not deserve to be forgiven, but we deserve to be free of that anger. The pain may be still fresh, but we're not going to play it over and over in our mind what happened, because we need to be free from the anger. And last but not least, we can't talk about everything in this little segment, but next time I will go into some tips and ways to forgive. But these are just a few. We're going to forgive, we're going to pardon, and we're going to express ourselves. So the next thing we're going to do is express ourselves. Sometimes we may or may not know how to express our feelings to the other person. Sometimes we may not even want to. If relationship is important to you and you invest in this relationship and you want to maintain this relationship, it is important you express yourself. You have to let the other person know in a non-threatening way or language how their actions affected you. So you have to find a way to discuss it with the person. Next week, we're going to go more into tips and ways of how to express this. But I want us to realize today, to get out of this message, is that we must pardon the other person. We must forgive the other person so we can be free. Marriage is difficult, and communicating is the number one reason. And I've found that a lot of couples don't know how to communicate. So we're going to talk about, you can send me your questions and comments about expressing yourself or anything you've learned. Let's talk about it. So we have a chat here. We're talking about Phone Joan. Hi, Phone Joan. What's on your mind, Phone Jones? You want to share with us what's on your mind? Did I lose Phone Jones? Look like I'm losing Phone Jones. I'm sorry about that. But let's remember, guys, marriage is difficult. But you must forgive. You must forgive. You must pardon a person, even if there's no basis for pardoning them, because God pardoned us. And you have to express yourself, and don't play the pain over and over in your mind. Forgive them. Express yourself in a non-threatening way. So I hope you learned something today. And I'm sorry, but I'm working on this. I cannot seem to hear Phone Jones. But I worked the bugs out of this thing, guys. Be patient with me. Hello, Phone Jones. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. So until next time, remember, be free and be you.